Hey lovers, I have some wonderful news. The dark clouds have parted and I have seen the sun. It has been such an intense year or even 2 years, and I feel like this process kind of started really getting to me when I had the conversation with Sarah, and I really got in touch with my grief around my IVF experience not working and realizing that I had to integrate that grief, and that on some level you in life, I mean, it's kind of obvious to say and we all know it in our heads, but life is full of joy and sorrow, and the sorrow is part of who we are. And I think that my failure to integrate that grief, I don't want to use the failure, but that I hadn't come to a place where I could open up and integrate that grief fully, was making it difficult for me to move forward and be in my full self. And I started feeling really bad. And I also was feeling this frustration about people not really seeing how dark things were going for me. And then today I woke up and I was feeling really depressed, and like life is just getting darker and darker and it's never gonna get better, and kind of all of these feelings. And I was gonna go for a walk, and then I decided, okay, you know what? Also, I've been having trouble structuring my day, and it kind of occurred to me that, so I'm an entrepreneur, so I've always been trying to figure out, like, what's the perfect day? What should I eat in the morning? Then have a work block here, then have an exercise block here, then get out in nature here, and it just, then community, then dating, and it just feels like there's not enough time in the day for everything that I want to fit in. And so what I realized is that I don't have to do the same thing every day. One day can be more of an exercise day, a nature day, and another day can be more like a really intense work session day. So today I decided I wanted to catch up on some errands, and so I walked to the mall. It's about a 30-minute walk, and I went into my favorite makeup store. My favorite makeup artist, Maya, was there, and she just started doing my makeup. Like, sometimes I wanted to get some bronzer and some highlighter, but she just started doing it, and I love her. She has these really magical hands, and I love her touching my face. It's so relaxing. And Maya said something to me, and it was one of those things where you can hear these words and they make sense, but they don't really sink in. And for whatever reason, part of psychological growth, spiritual growth, means that some of it is just embodying what's simple, the words that you know that make sense, like when you let go, he'll come, or something like that, but you just can't fully feel it. And what Maya said to me was to this effect, if I can really, that either the right man or no man. And if it's no man, the right man or no man. You only want the right man or no man. And if it's no man, travel. Maya said, go to Bali. She felt like Bali is such a spiritual place. Travel, enjoy, embrace your life. Stop, and I felt like, okay, I really felt clarity, okay, on what I want. So the other thing is that my mood really impacts how I feel. And today I really started the day right with what I wanted to eat. So I got a blender and I put these frozen cherries and unsweetened chocolate and rice protein powder. I just like to have my rice protein powder with unsweetened, because I don't really like sweetened protein powder. And so I had that, and then I put some spinach in it, my raw greens. So I mixed that up and I drank that, and I think that started to put really good energy into my body. So then when I was with Maya and she was doing a makeup, and then the other ladies are so lovely as well in that store, so they were coming around and looking at Maya, and Maya just really knows what I like. So she put this bronzer and highlighter. She just spontaneously did my whole makeup. Usually you have to kind of sign up to do that. And it's just so magical when those little gifts float into your life. So Maya did my makeup, and then I felt really nice. And then I was thinking about how these beautiful connections I've made with people in Split over the years. And then I went to the other store and I got a couple more things. And then I went to the fruit store, and I like to pick out special fruits. So I got a pear, and I got some prunes, and I got an avocado and this beautiful blood orange. I like to get unusual fruits and then have them as snacks during the day. And I came back and I took a really nice bath. I got a little inspiration for some blogs I wrote, and then I had absolutely clarity on what I want to do next with my projects, because I've been really struggling to figure out where's money coming in, and the grants are running out. And then all of a sudden I knew exactly what project I need to work on and how it's going to make money. It's a meaningful, impactful project, and it does have a really clear path for revenue. It hits all of the different things that I want to do. So essentially during the pandemic, I started a nonprofit to provide one-on-one tutoring, and we recruited volunteers from colleges and universities to teach math to kids one-on-one online. And we had a special approach where we gathered everyone in a breakout room. And what I realized is that I want to be the one leading these sessions, and we're going to be recruiting people from companies that pay for volunteer hours, so we can support the efforts we do with the students through the volunteers because the corporations are paying. And we've done it before. I just got really overwhelmed because I wasn't able to fundraise for it, and there were all these really unreliable volunteers. And I think what really makes it special is that we use, all of the work is grounded in attachment theory. So with all this talk about AI tutors, one of the things that we forget about education is that healthy attachment, that bond between the teacher and the student, is such a fundamental part of the learning process. People need that for their mental health. And so in this project, I train the volunteers in child-centered communication, and then we pair them with adaptive learning apps so that they have a curriculum to work through with the teachers. And the kids were, we had a family who was tuning in from the projects. 3 kids were tuning in different computers in the same room with the grandma and the mom. And the daughter, who was about to fail her grade, jumped 2 grades in math. We were really changing people's lives. And I think that with me in the room, I'll have an opportunity to interact with the children, which is going to be such a delight for me because I really miss being around children. And then, part of the thing with these banks and these Google is that it's a lot of men who work there. And so this is an opportunity for me to connect and develop closer friendships with men by recruiting them to volunteer, and then also helping with men's mental health because people are so isolated, especially when they work remotely. And from there, we can do all kinds of fun events, both in person and online, and support families who have food scarcity by mobilizing the community. And just thinking about this as me running it, it feels really nice because I can be interacting with the community more. And I think that I had to step outside of this idea of how do we get this to every single child in the US, but how do we create a really meaningful tutoring program for 50 kids, for example, and then go from there. So I'm really excited about that. I feel a lot calmer. And then I have a similar feeling to actually how I felt both times that my IVF didn't work. And I realize where I want to focus my energy. So the thing that I think is really frustrating about dating is this sense of powerlessness. You do all these things and you can't control the outcome. But I have been following this red thread of desire, and the first thing that comes to me is calm. So some of the matchmakers have said what men want to feel is calm. They're with you. And when I in front of a man I'm attracted to is terrified and inadequate. And so sometimes I date men who I just don't really even feel attracted to because I feel confident that I'm better than them. And even my ex, who had so many struggles, when he was doing well, I just kept looking at him and saying, how could someone so beautiful ever love me? So that first thing is calm. I want to focus myself as cultivating that calm through hypnosis, through nutrition. Second is physical health. So I'm vegetarian, and I have been thinking about different ways to bring more protein into my life. And I know when I eat well, when I drink enough water, when I have a lot of raw greens, I feel amazing. So because I don't really like sweet protein powder, I found out pea protein powder and rice protein powder together have all the amino acids of protein. So I found these really nice unsweetened organic ones in the store, and I'm actually eating this soup. I don't know if you can see, I made it myself. It's really delicious, and I want to encourage you to make it. I think I'm actually going to publish a recipe book. And so what I did is I sauteed some leeks in soy sauce and olive oil, and then I boiled some new potatoes, those kind of tiny potatoes. And then in the blender, I blended together rice protein powder and tamari and sea salt and raw spinach, like a whole tub of it. And then I put in the new potatoes, and it's delicious. So it's just rice, it's sauteed leeks, tamari, really good olive oil. I'm in Croatia, so I have access. Spinach, raw spinach, rice protein powder, and it's really creamy and delicious. So when I eat healthy like this, with my protein and my raw greens and fruits, and just use a blender, I don't feel anxious, depressed. I don't crave alcohol so much. I feel calm. I feel happy. I feel in myself. So then the third thing is money and security, because I often think of a man as the one who's going to provide me with money and security. But also on the other hand, I think part of the reason I'm craving that is because I didn't get that so much as a child. And so I do feel so confident I can bring money into my life. And also with this new project, I mean, what's clear to me is I just want enough to live and to be free and to be happy. I'm not looking to be a billionaire or even a multi-millionaire. And so now that I have a little bit more groundedness in the kind of money that I need, I feel really good about the direction I'm going. It just, everything crystallized to me today, and it was so clear where I need to focus, because so many of my projects, I felt kind of like I'm this round hole in a square peg trying to build a tech platform when I'm not really a software engineer. Or, I think I became a little bit of a prodigy among certain people in the tech community because I was this teacher who built a product. Like my first company was a marketplace for micro schools, and we made $1 million with just me building the platform myself in the first year and a half. And so people started thinking I had this special talent for building tech products when I really didn't. And I just missed that part of me that's embodied, that's an artist. But I always for the last 20, 30, my whole life, I've been trying to feel like, what is that project where I can feel every day like I'm having real impact? And also, build a sustainable life for myself. And it's just so clear to me that, first of all, with the children, one-on-one tutoring, especially in math, it can change a child's entire life. They can go from being lacking confidence to being confident, to have any avenue open up to them. And that mentorship is so powerful too. I mean, if you're growing up in a community where you don't have a role model of someone who is successful in their career and entrepreneurial, it's really hard to know how to be. There's a lot of studies that show a girl who lives down the street from a woman entrepreneur is just hugely more likely to become an entrepreneur, because it's just such a big part of learning is modeling. And of course, you have to take into account that probably if you live near a woman entrepreneur, maybe you're from a higher social class, but still, that seems to just be a general rule that people learn by watching and by who they're around. And then on the other hand, volunteering is such a beautiful way to build your own mental health. And so I feel like for these people who are engineers making $1 gazillion a year, to have the opportunity to connect with children, to be of service, it just takes you out of your own mind, your anxiety, your addictions, to serve. Serving is so healing. So I'm really excited to bring this back, but to make myself more in it. Like, it doesn't have to be a machine. I can be part of it. I can be doing the leading of the sessions and be around the kids and meet the engineers. And I'm really excited about that. And I feel like I have a lot to bring to building that community, and also just with my experience of helping people learn to guide kids and to teach kids. Okay, so then the third thing, or the fourth thing, is beauty and romance. I mean, it's so fun, getting my makeup done today and am going to see someone tonight, a guy who I think is attractive, and I was feeling really anxious, like, does he like me? Am I good enough? And I realized, like, it's just such a pleasure to show up looking stunning and feel the attention and the desire from men without worrying, like, if they like me or not, and just enjoying my own beauty, enjoying those pretty things, because that's just part of who I am, the romance. And Valentine's Day, it was funny. I think, I don't feel depressed at all on Valentine's Day. I used to get so depressed in my 20s, but I think I realize now Valentine's Day it's a holiday for children. It's a holiday for women and people with a feminine spirit who like to do arts and crafts and roses. I mean, it's not the time to be pushing pressure on some guy to, take you out to the right dinner place or the right roses. It's a holiday for beauty. So I'm going to celebrate actually with Nira tonight. She's hosting a self-love art event, and hopefully I can record some of it and share it with you. I'm really so deeply excited about the friendship I'm cultivating with Nira, and it's been such an amazing outcome of all of this. So the 5th is children, and just there's so many ways to connect with children beyond being a parent. And being a parent takes a lot of work. And for a while now, I have been less in contact with children. I was teaching a lot during the pandemic when I was building Modulo, but it's been a while. But through these mixers, actually everyone who came to my mixers, so I've had 2 mixers entrepreneurs, has had children. So, well, not all of them have children. One maybe didn't, 1 or 2, but Nira has kids and I'm excited to meet them. And just, I feel like there's all these more opportunities to connect with kids, and of course through Mastery Hour, which is my nonprofit. All right, my loves, so that's the update. And for anyone who might be suffering in terms of their mental health, I mean, just remember there's so many great tools available to you. If you can't afford therapy, there are people there's a place like Crisis Text Line. They can connect you with free therapists or people who are in training for therapy who give free sessions because they need practice. There's hypnosis. I personally find that what I eat just impacts how I feel so much. Getting protein, so I really like the unsweetened rice and pea protein, and cutting back on alcohol for sure, and then adding in a lot of raw greens. The pea and the rice, it's all the amino acids, healthy fats, olive oil, having a little fruit as a treat. I also put a bunch of unsweetened chocolate in my cherry thing today. So yeah, I'm feeling really good. It's almost a sensation of getting your period, but I didn't get my period today, but just I've been through this dark storm and I'm stepping into the light.